Today we are on day 6, which is volume of pyramids and cones. We have this lesson and one more, and we will be done with the unit. And again, hopefully you're finding volume a lot easier than surface area, which should be the same case for volume of a pyramid and a cone. The volume of a pyramid is equal to 1/3 the product of the base area and the height. If you look at your formula sheet, it says 1/3 big B times H. Big B is the same thing that it has been all unit long. It is the area of the base. And H is the height of the pyramid. And I'm going to show you a quick demonstration in terms of where they came up with that formula in just a second. Same thing is going to be true for the cone, because remember, cones and pyramids are similar. The only difference is one has the shape of the base as a circle. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 the product of the, again, base area and the height. And again, we're just going to take it one step further, because we know big B in this particular case is a circle, and we know that formula is pi r squared h. And we know what r is, it's the radius, we know what h is, and it's the height. So I found a quick video just to demonstrate where this formula came up from. Normally I do it in class, but since we can't be together, hopefully you'll enjoy this small video.
Demonstration. I'd like to look at the volume of a pyramid and the volume of a prism. The volume of a pyramid is exactly 1/3 the volume of a prism, with a similar shaped base and the same dimensions. For example, if you have a pyramid with a rectangular base, its volume will be 1/3 the volume of a rectangular prism, with equal length, width, and height. The volume of a pyramid with a triangular base will be 1/3 the volume of a triangular prism, with an equal base and height. Let's see this visually by pouring water from a pyramid into a prism.
Okay, as I said, a quick demonstration, but you could see that 3 of the pyramids ended up inside one of the prisms that had the same base area and the same height. Okay, let's go ahead and move on and look at some examples here. We're looking for the volume of a square pyramid with base edges 15 and a height of 22. And I'm not going to draw out the whole picture. Again, I'm just going to focus on the base, which says it's a square. So because the base is a square, the base area would be 15 times 15, which is 225. So our formula, we said, is 1/3 big B times H. We just figured out the base area is 225, and we've been given a height of 22. So we substituted 225 for big B since it's the base area. We substituted in 22 for the height, and now we're going to go ahead and plug that into our calculator. So 1/3 times 225 times 22 gives us a volume of 1,650. In this case, it is centimeters cubed. Okay, the next one wants us to find the volume of a pyramid, and I'm not sure if this one kind of squeaks onto the back. We're looking again for the volume of a square pyramid. I'm just going to fit it in here. 1/3 big B times H. Again, big B happens to be a square. That would be 16 times 16. Now, the only part we're going to have to go after in here is we don't have the height, we have the slant height. So you can see they've drawn a picture I'm going to pull out that picture for you. I'm looking for the height. I have the slant height to be 17, and some of you made the mistake on your quiz. This whole length is 16, so from here to here it would be 8. We're going to go set up using Pythagorean's theorem. H squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. Ultimately, I do 17 squared minus h squared. I get 225, and taking the square root, I end up with a height of 15. So again, plugging that into my calculator, I end up with the volume of 1,280. I ended up with the volume of 1,280. Okay, before we go on and look at the cone, let's add on one more here just based on some issues that I saw on your quiz. Let's suppose we had, this was like number, I think it was the last one, which would have been question 14. Let's suppose it told us we have a pentagonal pyramid. And I'm going to go label some things. We have this is 4. It gave us on that particular problem, this was 2. And the only other thing we would have to know is we're going to state that we have a slant height of 10. All right, so again, our formula is 1/3 big B times H. I've got 1/3. I don't know the area of that base, but I do know that I have, and you know what? I actually wanted just the plane height to be 10. I don't want to have to go after that other piece. So what I want to have the discussion on that you had the issues with on your quiz is how do you find this base area? Well, remember when we did this, this was regular polygons and we cut it up into the number of triangles. So in this particular case, we have 5 triangles. So that is 5 1/2 base times height. So the base of that triangle we can see is 4. And we were given the height of that triangle is 2. So that whole thing is my base area. Let's go ahead and pick up your calculator, type that in. And I got 66.6 repeating. I'm going to just double check my answers. Yep, looks good. Okay, moving on to number 7, it says we have a TP and we're looking for the volume. So let's just draw a quick picture of what our TP might look like. We know that it's a cone. If you look at your formula, it is 1/3 pi r squared times h. It tells me that it is 6 feet tall. And I have a diameter of 7. That means all the way across is 7, but remember I need the radius, so half of 7 is 3.5. And I'm noticing it says nearest cubic foot. So again, let's go ahead and type in on our calculator. Go ahead and use your pi button. 3.5 squared times 6. And we end up with a volume, it says to the nearest foot, which would be 77 cubic feet. All right, moving on to the next one, it says an oblique cone. So even though it's oblique, which just means it's tilted to the side, the same formula is still going to work. We have 1/3 pi r squared times h. We can see we have a diameter of 6, which means our radius is 3. And again, they were nice enough to give us the height. Notice in this case it says leave it in terms of pi. So I'm putting my pi off to the side. I'm doing 1/3 times 3 squared times the 11. And we end up with 33 inches cubed. All right, and let's go and add one more. Excuse the dogs barking in the background. Hopefully they're going to be quiet. If they start barking again, I'll try and pause it for us. All right, let's go take a look at one more. I've been given, and I'm going to change it up again, just depending on, I shouldn't say depending, but noticing some issues that I see that you're having. So again, we're going to have been given a cone. It has with a radius of 6, and we're given the volume is equal to 96 pi, and eventually we want to find the slant height. So I'm trying to up it in difficulty in kind of two different ways. All right, so let's start with your formula. You've got volume equals, we've got 1/3 pi r squared times h. I've been given a volume of 96 pi. I have a radius of 6. And the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is find the height, and then we'll go find the slant height. So let's simplify what we have. 96 pi, if I do 1/3 times 6 squared, we get 12 pi h. I need to solve for the height. I need to get h by itself. Right now there's multiplication going on, so I want to undo that, and I'm going to divide, and we end up with h is equal to 8. So let's draw just a quick picture of what we have going on here. We know the radius is 6, we know the height is 8, they want us to go and find the slant height. So here's where I tried to increase the difficulty, again to help review what the issue was on your quiz. We're going to go and use Pythagorean's theorem. We have L squared equals 8 squared plus 6 squared. We've got 64 and 36. L squared equals 100, and eventually we end up with a slant height of 10, and we'll just say it is units. All right, that is it for your notes. I encourage you, try and do the notes ahead of time, and then maybe get on Math Excel with me so that we can Zoom and work on your Math Excel and get that done. And as I said, we have one more lesson, your test, and then we've just got review and the exam. So we are on the home stretch. Please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. If you need an extension, if you need help, whatever that might be, I am here to help you out. Want to see all of you guys succeed. Thanks so much.